Good morning, grade 8s. Welcome to term 1. We're starting with factors of production. I will be available on WhatsApp in this time, so please watch this video, and if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, so what you need for this period, you would need your textbook via Africa. We're going to be working from pages 82 to 83. Your term plan, that you can see what specifics we're going to be covering, your EMS business book, your workbook to make notes and do your homework, a lot of energy and no coffee. Okay, after this class, you should be able to define the key terms, be able to draw the factors of production figure, to write down the definition of a free market economy, in table form, list the differences between own capital and borrowed capital, and define own and borrowed capital. And I would advise that you make your own notes in your workbook by following these points as guidelines as structured in this PowerPoint video. So first, what are factors of production? Factors of production are the basic inputs, your resources that are used to produce goods and services. Okay, there are 4 factors of production. What are they? Quickly go with me. The first one is capital, then labor, natural resources, and entrepreneurship. Alright, these are your basic foundation building blocks that you need to understand with. So we're going to discuss each one in detail, and today we're going to focus on capital. So as a start off, I would like you to quickly take your workbooks, title today's date. You can give an interesting heading, e-schooling or e-learning homework activity. Today's date, which is the 15th of April. You can then, the heading will be factors of production, and then you can define it as we stated in on the slide that you're seeing right now, and also double check your workbook, your textbook on page 82, and then you can list them, the 4 factors of production. A good thing about this video is that you can pause it and watch it as you go along at your own pace, and that in the end you will not be losing any information. Alright, so next one I want you to take on page 82 and copy that figure that you see on page 82, the factors of production. That is figure, just quickly go there, that is figure 2.7. okay, and I want you to do it on a creative way. You don't have to do it exactly like it is, but I want you to do it in a creative way, so take 5 minutes at least. Okay, you can pause and unpause. Okay, with the free market economy, now it's important to understand that when we're discussing factors of production, you need to understand in which context it will happen. Now, if we look at different economies, the first one that we'll be looking at is your free market economy. The usage of factors of production will be different. So when we look at the free market economy, what is the definition of a free market economy? Quickly turn to page 82 and read the definition with me of a free market economy. So on the left hand side, you'll see a free market economy is an economy where individual households and businesses take all the economic decisions, and there is no government interference. So when we look at that example, or that definition of a free market economy, I want you to read it again and then quickly take a minute and explain that to one of your friends on WhatsApp right now. Please don't send it on our WhatsApp group. I don't want to fill it necessarily. Okay, once you've done with that, I want you to make sure that you notice the key things to remember here is who makes the economic decisions. It's your household, the individuals in the household and businesses. And what's the government influence? Absolutely zero. So in grade 9 we will teach you about supply and demand, and then this will make a bit more sense. Supply is what businesses will offer, and this is on their free will, so they can supply what products, whenever, how much, without any government interference. And demand is exactly the same. This is now from the consumer side. They can buy whatever products from whom, uh, and pay what they feel is right. So let's say, for example, in a free market economy, Checkers can supply, they can choose to sell meat, salads, diapers, toys, whatever. And they are not prescribed by the government. When the government prescribes to you what you should sell, we call that capitalism. All right, so that's not free market anymore. Um, so in a free market, Checkers, the business can tell or decide what they want to sell. The same with consumers. I can choose to go to either Pick n Pay or Checkers, depending on what they offer and depending on the prices. So this is all my choice. I'm not forced to buy at one specific place. Okay. So, as another question that you can answer, so I would suggest pausing this video now after this question is, do you think this type of economic system will work in a country? And then I want you to quickly give a reason why. If you don't agree with this, then give me a reason why as well. Okay, unpaused. So key concepts of capital, you need to be able to define borrowed and owned capital. So we've given you the definitions. Borrowed capital refers to any money that's borrowed by an entrepreneur or business owner for the purpose of establishing and running a business. In accounting, it's also known as a loan. Own capital refers to money invested in the business by the owner or entrepreneur, and it usually comes from your savings. So when you start a business, the first thing that you need is an excellent idea. All right, so once you've got your idea, your business plan, you need to get capital. So if you are rich, or you've got rich family members or friends, well, let's just start with, if you've got the money, it's referred to as own capital. Okay, it's yours. You don't own anyone. You worked for it. You saved up. You inherited it. It's yours. Okay, you can do with it whatever you want. But if you don't have that, you have to go and borrow capital. Okay, so that's why it's known as a loan in accounting terms. So you can go to a bank, ask friends, family, which is not always a good idea. In some cases it works, but sometimes it causes a lot of tension, because when you start a business and you're using someone else's money and not yours, and the business fails, when it's a bank, you have to repay. There's no way you can get around it. With family members, you still need to repay, but sometimes the entrepreneur feels, the family member should support them and they don't need to actually repay, or the family member feels bad and says, no, you don't need to repay me. But then that creates a lot of tension. So I would suggest that when you start your own business, you can borrow money, but make sure that you set out the terms from the start. Structured terms and conditions with family members or friends, so that it is in the end just a business decision and nothing personal. Then you protect relationships as well. Okay, so continuing on. Other forms of capital. So in economics, capital refers to capital goods, which is your machinery, tools that's used to produce goods or services. Okay, so when you have capital and you buy an expensive thing, for example, land or buildings, That's your capital investment. But another word that you can, or form that you can study is machinery and tools. Okay, that's what you need to produce your goods and services, and that can be another form of capital. Features. So you use capital in the production of other goods. You use capital to buy a building, to buy your trading stock, to set up your distribution channel, to pay salaries for the first few months while you're doing your startup and your cash flow is not right. So capital's got a lot of functions. When you plan your business, you need to be able to make sure that you would have a backup fund for at least 6 months to a year to pay salaries for the event that in the event that your business is not a huge success or a boom from the start, you need to be able to cover your running expenses, for example your rent, your salaries, water and electricity, utilities, etc. And you need to pay yourself as well. Okay. Another feature, it's human made and it's not used up immediately in the production process. If you use up your capital immediately in the production process, then I think you've got too little capital. But mostly you cannot use it up because you can't complete or deplete your machinery. You can't use that up. That's actually what it's meant by this sentence. Last one, or it's stock items and value can be calculated at a point in time. So at any given time you can stop, hit the pause button and calculate your asset values by seeing what value the assets are currently at, because each asset will depreciate over time, and then you can add it together and see your total assets or total capital in that sense. Okay, so what I want you to do now is on page 83, there's a summary of sources of capital. I've discussed that earlier, but I want you to copy that table in your workbook, and I want you to differentiate, which means show the difference between own capital and borrowed capital by defining each and listing examples as well as sources of each. And recap. For our next period, which will be on the 20th of April, please revisit this work that we've done today. We're building this factors of production house, and the capital is one of the foundation or one of the legs of this house. And in order for you to see the bigger picture, you need to understand capital as part of factors of production. Alright, hope you have a good day, and any questions, please ask away.